I cannot believe what has happened in the last 48 hours. I'm in shock. In just 48 hours, an 8-month liberal spin machine blew its gasket. It's in pieces. This blown gasket is actually great news for us Canadians that are struggling to put food on the table every day. It has been exposed that the Liberals could care less about you being able to afford food during the worst affordability crisis in Canadian history. Why would I say this? It's because we just found out the Liberals have been secretly taxing your food at the grocery stores. It's unbelievable. How could they even have this in their mind saying, you know what? Who cares how expensive groceries are? We're going to tax them even further. After food inflation has caused many of the items in the store to double and triple over the last 4 years, they actually thought it would be acceptable to tax that stuff, making it even more expensive. Because we just found out the Liberal government has they took money from you, $2.4 billion in such a short amount of time from counter tariffs that were on your groceries. Are you going to be getting a refund? Not a chance. I didn't vote for this. Did you vote for this? I did not vote for this fake elbows up campaign, and I have the receipts to prove that they straight up caused more inflation in our grocery prices. Plus, Mark Carney, after dropping the elbows bomb, got onto a plane and is heading to Europe for the 4th time since he became prime minister. That means he's taking a wonderful vacation in Europe every single month since he became prime minister. Where is he going in Europe? Well, if you could guess where this is, that is where he's going. And why would I call it a vacation? Because we still have yet to get any trade deal or any benefit at all from his visits in Europe, strengthening ties. Every time he goes to Europe, he shakes a couple hands and makes promises, but we have yet to see any fruit from all of those visits. And you're not going to believe it was exposed that there might be a Brookfield connection to his trip. But don't worry, it's not all bad news today. I have some great news. The price of food in the grocery stores are going to be heading down in 8 days from now. And I'm excited because I drink a lot of coffee. And I buy coffee almost on a weekly basis. The big bags at Costco, they have almost doubled in price this year. So I expect my coffee to go down in price in 8 days from now. Let's get into the show. What is this? This is Mark Carney about to board a plane to strengthen our economic and security ties with Europe. Let's see if he actually comes back with anything. I guarantee you, we're not going to get any announcement of billions upon billions in trade deals. He's going to say, the meeting went well. We're going to secure this. He just talks over and over again. He's Justin Trudeau 2.0. Word salad after word salad. We're not going to get anything. He might bring back his hockey analogy. Oh, and there he is walking up the stairs. I wonder if he's alone. It looks like he's going alone. It looked like Joe Biden was climbing those stairs. Holy crap. Or Mr. Burns, whichever one. In the first 4 months of this year, we allowed 834,000 study permits and work permits. These numbers, I just don't understand how they're so huge. But this is not the most alarming part. Bruce here on X says Canada took in 817,000 immigrants in the first 4 months of 2025, but 4.9 million have permits that expire in 2025. And we're letting in more? Why are we doing this? There's no jobs right now in Canada. we're seeing unemployment surge. Maybe people are flooding out of the country to the United States or leaving the country altogether. So need to bring in more people to make up for it. I don't know what's happening here in Canada. Check out this clip with Vance.
Of the Democratic Party. If you go back to the election of 2024, what was the big issue? The big issue was illegal immigration. They were actually defending the rights of illegal immigrants to come into our country, to vote in our elections, to collect Social Security and Medicaid that ought by right go to American citizens, to say nothing of housing. This is actually the biggest driver of housing costs in some of these big blue cities, is that they've flooded the zone with illegal immigrants. As we've kicked illegal aliens out of our country, you actually see housing costs start to level off. So fundamentally, the difference between Republicans and Democrats is we care about American citizens. They actually don't like American citizens and want to replace them with low-wage foreigners. It's a very stark difference, and I think the American people are going to continue to reward us because of it.
What's your thought on Vance's take? So in Canada, we know that the surge in immigration has caused the real estate prices across the country to surge. We've seen prices level off, and in many markets, the prices are heading down. But with all the new numbers, and what about the 4.9 million people that they have expired visas? Are they just going to go up and leave? That's what the Liberals are expecting, that they're just going to leave voluntarily. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this. Here's the breaking story about our government raising the prices of food for everybody. And what they did is so wrong, because the cost of food has gone up so much in the last 4 years. They made it even worse. And our seniors and most vulnerable have to buy food as well. They can't afford the food, and yet they allowed prices to soar. You would think when they said maximum pain to the United States and minimum pain for us in Canada, that would mean they would not even look at increasing and taxing food.
Grocery stores where the elbows up movement to buy Canadian over U.S. goods really hit home. And it's where Ottawa's counter tariffs against American products was felt most.
Counter tariffs were hurting Canadians.
The cost of counter tariffs on foods, says this food pricing expert, was taking a toll on grocery budgets. He predicts removing those measures as of September 1st will make a difference.
We could see prices drop for products like orange juice, for example, dry goods in the center of the store. I think, honestly, this is the right move.
After U.S. President Donald Trump launched a volley of tariffs against Canadian goods in February, Canada responded with its own. But for small businesses on this side of the border, that meant higher prices on clothing, furniture, and other items.
Our August survey data did show that that was the most harmful tariff on small businesses.
And so the Canadian Federation of Independent Business is happy to see them go. But there's a rub. Counter tariffs brought in $2.4 billion in revenue for Ottawa in April and May alone.
Which we still want to see return to small businesses that have been impacted by the trade disruptions.
For the multi-billion-dollar steel industry, it's a different story.
So it sounds a bit disappointing.
That's because the Prime Minister is keeping counter tariffs on U.S. autos, steel, and aluminum, although unchanged.
U.S. went from 25% up to 50% now on Canadian steel. We would hope Canada would do the same. Maybe it's part of his negotiating strategy.
Carney playing the long game is what the forestry industry is counting on as the sector feels the pinch from American duties of 35% and faces an investigation by the U.S. Commerce Department that could see them spike even higher.
Can you believe it? The Liberals really don't care how expensive things get in Canada. They're willing to sacrifice it all. For what? What did we gain from putting these retaliatory tariffs on ourselves? We're paying for it. What do we get? We're not seeing any of that $2.4 billion back. And we ship in like coffee and all sorts, fruits, vegetables, everything coming from the US was getting tariffed by our Canadian government. How do I know this? $2.4 billion is a ton of money for just 2 months. This is explosive new information. After we just saw the report that the Liberals have caused higher grocery prices for all of us and raised $2.4 billion in only 2 months, I think it's acceptable to play a meme from RPN. Let's go. Elbows up, thank God. Now we get to afford groceries. So mainstream media came out today and said, yay, we avoided a recession altogether because we just got our brand new retail sales and are up 1.5% across Canada. But there's something that they don't tell you. The fastest growing items are construction material and clothing. But here's the scam, everybody. But there's something that the general public doesn't know. And it is that prices, when they go up, they don't show you, they show you the absolute dollar figure. They don't look at it as items sold. Let's say I have 10 eggs at $3 each, so $30. Next month, the 10 eggs are $3.05. So the total is $30.50. That is a 1.5% increase. You see what I mean? The increase in sales is in fact an increase in inflation. This is not something to be excited about, Canada. So sales are up because inflation is up. It has nothing to do with more sales. So how do I know the information I just provided to you was the truth? This is Statistics Canada for the month of July, the inflation rate. And if you look at household operations, furnishing, and equipment, which is also the construction material, it's up like almost 2%. Clothing and footwear used to be negative. For like 3 years, it was negative. It is officially above negative. In fact, it's at 1%. So when you take the 1% and the 2%, and they're showing us 1.5%. So if the sales remain the same from last month to this month, and there's a 1.5% increase in the price, wow, there you go. We have 1.5% increase retail sales. I want to give a shout out to Jasmine Lane. Her reports are fantastic. I'm a huge fan of hers. We talk, she's fantastic. One thing I want to say is check out this video with the US ambassador. I actually believe that we could thank Jasmine Lane for the end of the elbows up. I believe that it's because of her interview and her hard work that we no longer have the counter tariffs. So we could thank Jasmine Lane for us getting cheaper food at the stores in 8 days. And I have proof on why I believe this. Listen up closely, then I'm going to provide you some commentary.
Right. And it seemed like it was a real wake-up call in Ottawa when the U.S. ambassador, came out just over a week ago, I guess now it was, and said, well, all bets are off now. If Canada is going to undermine CUSMA, then who knows what's going to happen with that agreement. So I think that kind of freaked everybody out because for now, that's a kind of our shield in this whole weird situation. And then looking ahead to next year and hoping to preserve that deal. So if we're giving the Americans an excuse to say, well, Canada was undermining the deal in the first place, so maybe we don't need it, that's a big problem. So I think under the circumstances, these are reasonable adjustments from the Carney government. And as we just heard a few minutes ago, these tariffs we have in place, they're also hurting Canadian businesses. So we do need to be strategic. And it's just, the political problem for Mark Carney, if you'd detailed all of this over the last couple of months and then, went back in a time machine to the election campaign and said, well, here's how things are actually going to go. A huge disconnect between the way they were positioning themselves at the time and what's transpired since then.
Good job, Jasmine. Because of you exposed the Liberals. They were going against CUSMA, putting tariffs on CUSMA items that were compliant just for the fact. And because you exposed them, they had to drop them because they're negotiating in bad faith. And that puts future negotiations with CUSMA in jeopardy. Wow. I have to say, good job. And we could thank you for lower grocery prices in 8 days from now. So this is a reminder that us content creators in Canada can make a massive difference. Jasmine Lane, Moose on the Loose, myself, all of the wonderful YouTubers that is doing investigative journalism is actually causing things to change in our government. I have another story to show you. Table Salt on X was able to provide and find this video clip of spray of glyphosate in our forests across Canada, except for the province of Quebec.
Activists who say these choppers were spraying the herbicide glyphosate on forest clear-cuts south of Prince George about 10 years ago. Spraying operations like these continue in BC to this day and are carried out in support of the timber industry. Glyphosate is a powerful herbicide that many would know as the active ingredient in Roundup.
They use these sprays to mitigate the what they call competitive growth and competitive vegetation.
Ronnie Dean Harris and Angelina Hopkins Rose have been researching a recent permit application that, if approved, would allow for aerial and ground spraying to happen on Crown land over a massive territory, stretching from Hope to Squamish. They have many concerns.
The effects on people are still inconclusive. It's been rated as probably carcinogenic by some agencies, but for us, the real effects in nature can be catastrophic.
Both are of indigenous descent and worry about the effect on the berries and traditional medicines they.
No, it goes all over the rivers, waters. It pollutes. And yes, it's highly poisonous. It causes cancer. But here's the huge story, and this is Table Salt again. I got 4 million views on this topic because he's been publishing about it as well. And because of content creators like myself, Table Salt's on X. I believe he started a YouTube channel, but I haven't checked it out. But his work and everybody else that's publishing news items to bring awareness to this subject, a mayor is seeking answers regarding spraying of herbicides in Northern Ontario. With social media, that's the key right there. There has been a great call across Northern Ontario municipalities to support the public inquiries about using herbicides in our forests. Check out the date of this report. August 21st. Oh yeah. We're shaking the trees and we're making a difference, Canada. Share these videos. Let's go. And we're making so much of a difference and calling out our government that they actually, a planned aerial herbicide spraying canceled for North Shore Forest. A planned aerial herbicide spray across parts of Northern Ontario has been abruptly halted for the North Shore. This is what I'm talking about. We need to keep bringing awareness of issues across Canada. That's the best way for change, Canada. We need to demand change. And this is why I work so hard on my Twitter X account, because I expose the truth. For example, I published this thing and I said, look, this activity is banned because of forest fires, which is actually the truth. When you post something like this and show how absurd it is, it gets people talking, and that is how change could happen. Have you heard? Our passport used to be the most prestigious passport in the world. I used to stow a Canada flag on the back of my backpack. I'd bring a flag with me and I'd wear Canada shirts around the world. When I had, oh, you're from Canada, I'd be like, yeah, Canada. I would never do that today. Ever since Justin Trudeau showed up, our passport has fallen in the ranks. This article says, once amongst the world's most powerful, Canada's passport has slipped. Is anyone surprised? I actually renewed my passport this year. And when I received it, it looks like a child's coloring book. This is what I wrote in this post. The only thing that's falling faster than Canada's passport ranking is Canada itself. And thanks for all of you out there in my comments section. I have officially fixed the viral hat to say Carney lied about everything. Elbows up is actually elbows down. Thank you very much for everybody out there. This hat is now going viral. And you're not going to believe this. Global News is actually reporting elbows down.
Elbows up. Elbows up.
It's the slogan that propelled the Liberals to a comeback victory. But less than 4 months later, Mark Carney admits his elbows are now down.
You know, when you're late in the game, dropping the gloves and taking the extra penalty might not be the best thing to do. And that's the situation we're in now.
The day after speaking with Donald Trump, Carney announcing Canada's latest concession, a removal of counter tariffs on goods covered under the Canada-US-Mexico free trade deal, like orange juice, appliances, and motorcycles.
No, and coffee and your fruit and vegetables. I show you the report. It's absolutely absurd what these Liberals did.
We're matching what the United States has done.
Yeah, they should have never have done that in the first place. Like I said, Jasmine Lane exposed the whole thing. We could thank her for the removal of these Ridiculous counter tariffs making our life even less affordable. And I got some sad news to report. BC Ostrich Farm loses appeal to save the birds. It's over for them. They fought hard since the beginning of the year. Remember when I say share everything? We need to share this story because these birds, they're not sick. These birds aren't sick anymore. And they actually potentially could have cure for certain things. These birds need to be saved. So I guess I'm becoming a little bit famous. I've actually featured on Newsweek, a U.S. publication. Mark Carney faces backlash over U.S. deal. We're all deceived. And I am in this report. Here's the section I made in the U.S. newspaper. Using a hockey analogy, Vancouver-based commentator Mark Nixon said the U.S. had scored on repeat while we sat in the box. After which Canada was out, now chasing the puck without a stick on X. So here's Mark Carney's announcement. He is going to be in Poland first, Germany, Latvia from August 25th to the 27th. But Germany is something that, why is he going to Germany? Germany went to this net zero, did all these solar panels. They basically collapsed their economy. Manufacturing is down the hole. They've been in recession for 2 years. Why are we strengthening ties with an economy that is failing right now? Just to think. And this is all going across the internet as Brookfield expands its operations in Germany and they have opened an office just 2 years ago. I wonder if he's going to go to that office. That's it for today's report. There are so many things. I just can't believe they were taxing food and raised $2.4 billion over the course of 2 months. They should refund all of it. These liberals really know how to make our life unaffordable. Let's see if Mark Carney gets any trade deal in Europe. I have a feeling that he's going to Europe on vacation. This is his 4th time in 4 months. He goes every month, and we have yet to get anything from his trips there. I look forward to providing all of you my reports. I'll see you on the next report.